good morning. Thank you for joining me and giving me your time this early in the morning. And it's you got four kids running around the house now. Before we talk about music and video games and your car and everything else, how's dad life been treating you, dude? That's got to be the best thing.
I love it. I really love it. And it was one of the reasons that we took a big hiatus as a band is I just wanted to be home with my kids. And it's hard, we toured for 10 years straight at that point, and I just was ready to be home and be a dad. And COVID hit, and I've been in the house for 3 years with my kids. And man, COVID's been awful, but I have loved being with my kids nonstop, and being locked in the home with them has been nothing but wonderful. I really, really mean that.
Is it hard for you to have creative Dan Reynolds time? Like you're at home right now and it's what, 5 a.m?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, now it's 7. It's 7 here.
Okay, it's 7. So, but it's early in the morning. Is this your creative time right now before they get up, before they're running around and the madness is happening?
Yep. Yeah, I get up and immediately I'm either working on music or I'm learning to program. That's kind of what has been intriguing me lately. So I'm taking a course on C#.
I definitely want to talk about your video game. We'll see what you can reveal about that in a little bit. I just think that's so cool that, you can get up right on the creative switch is on there and then you go and have your kids. But I also saw that video you guys put up maybe it was a couple weeks ago, but you're sitting there playing Follow You. You got your twins next to you. They're bopping along, eating applesauce. And it's like, you got the best of both worlds going on there, Dan. It's just so cool.
Yeah, I'm a very, very blessed man. I have no room to complain. My kids are just the joy of my life. I have 3 little girls and a little boy and a wonderful wife. And I love my life. I'm very, very happy. And feel just very grateful.
Now, are they getting into music too? Are your kids like, are they starting to play any drums or like strum a guitar or anything like that yet?
They all love music, which is a little frightening to me because I don't, yeah. When you're in the industry for this long, you see all the sides of it, and it can be fantastic and it can be very hard, and it breaks a lot of people. So, it's difficult because I always promised myself that I'd be super supportive of my kids getting into art, which I am, but I have to check myself all the time because I'm like, my daughter's like, I want to start acting. And I'm like, let's wait a couple of years, maybe, let's see. So it's a tricky thing, the art. I mean, I'm all for art, but the industry can be really hard, especially on young women.
But on the other side of that, you having over a decade of experience with Imagine Dragons and all your other projects, who's BSing you, who's telling you the truth, the right and the wrong people now. So at least going in, hey, I can help my daughter or any of my kids, whatever they need, I got their back.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, whatever my kids want to do, they're going to do, and I'm all for that. My daughter, I'm just like pacing it a little bit. Like my daughter, who's 8, just is now acting in plays and doing stuff like that, and she loves music and loves create. My wife is a musician. I'm a musician, and we're both just artists to the core, and so our kids are obviously going to be that. At least some of them are. We're seeing that already. So wherever they go, I'm for it. I just the whole like thrust into Hollywood with young children who maybe don't fully understand that what that looks like yet. I'm not sure that's for us.
Well, it'll come if it does, but you'll do them right. Well, let's talk about the Dragons. And man, you guys got a couple things going on. Some good times coming up for Imagine Dragons. We got we just said Follow You, and Cutthroat. You just put out Wrecked. So 3 songs that are very different here, Dan. And are we going to get more different sides to Imagine Dragons with the new album here?
I mean, yeah, we brought on Rick Rubin for this record, we've never worked with him before. So that definitely brings a new element to the creation process. Also, it is our 5th record and we've been a band for 10 years. So we're finding our identity more and finding things that are interesting to us and things that are no longer interesting to us. So there's this record definitely throws in some stuff we've never gotten even close to approaching, for better or for worse. And, I'd like to think it's for better. I love this record. It's my favorite record we've done. I think every artist says that about their newest record. But I love it. I loved working with Rick. It really pushed me in challenging ways. But I wanted that.
Everybody always says he's the guy with the golden touch when it comes to music. And, he has some pretty good ideas. Like he's worked with the Red Hot Chili Peppers and this band and that band and everyone. So he's definitely a good guy to have on your team for this one.
Yeah, Rick is fantastic. I loved working with him. We become good friends, and I have nothing but positive things to say about the experience. He is, there's a reason that he is who he is, and it's because he's a really special, incredible artist, and more importantly, a really great human being.
Now, the new album, it's coming early September. It's Mercury Act 1. Is this the first part? When I hear act in, I think about a play of 3 acts. So is this the part of a trilogy? Is that what you're going for? I don't know if you could say that yet, but that's just me starting to put some things together.
I can just say that if there's an act 1, there's most likely an act 2 at least.
Okay, so, at least. I like it.
Yeah.
And that's all you can say about that. That's fine. By the way, side note, speaking of trilogies, what's Dan Reynolds' favorite movie trilogy?
Man, I'm not a big trilogy guy. I'm kind of that's a good question. I'm like trying to think of like a trilogy that I love. I love good fight trilogies. But as far as movies go, I can't think of a trilogy that I love. I mean, I love Lord of the Rings, but that's not you know what I mean? There's like, I don't even know that's what that is. That's a lot of movies.
Well, like I think about The Dark Knight or the first 3 Star Wars or Indiana Jones, those first 3 movies. So those are some that come to mind.
Yeah. I like Star Wars, but I'm not like there's people who definitely invest more into that than me. I get and Batman. I'm okay. I think I'd probably go with Indiana Jones. I loved Indiana Jones. I guess that's a trilogy. Yeah, so I'll say Indiana Jones for 100.
Okay. Dan Reynolds says Indiana for 100. I'm sure you guys have, besides the album, you're thinking about the tour and everything. Are we close to announcing that? Is that going to be coming in the next couple of weeks, maybe?
I can't tell you exactly when, but I will tell you we have a whole world tour planned, and it will be announced soon.
Okay, we'll take soon then. I know, Dan, that you stay in shape constantly. I know that's a big part of your life, your physical health with you. What's the difference between you working out day to day and getting ready for a tour? Because that's a whole different energy, different muscles, different everything on stage.
Yeah. Getting in tour shape is a difficult thing for sure. I mean, I have to stay in shape, period. First of all, just because I have ankylosing spondylitis, which requires me to be extremely active and flooding my joints with blood constantly. And if I'm not doing that, then I get a lot of inflammation. So because of that, every day I do something. So I primarily right now I've been doing jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai and kickboxing. And that for me is like constantly keeping me healthy. Anything that's high cardio, that's super important for stage, because singing and running around on a huge stages requires a lot of breath and lung capacity. But yeah, so yeah, it's something that's just I can't be out of shape if I want to be able to do my job. So yeah.
You got to stay tip top to give a tip top show. That's the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about your video game, Dan? I know you revealed a little bit about it. I just think that's really cool because I remember you first had said something about this a couple years ago. I think maybe it was 2018 or something, but it was a couple of years ago. You said you had these ideas for characters, and clearly it's come across and come along, over the last couple of years. What's going on with this video game, man? Like, what can you tell me about it?
Yeah, I really, when I want to do something, I'm really like laser focused, and I don't give up on it. Even if I do a bad job at it, I get obsessive about things. And one thing that I've always wanted to do since I was young is make a computer game, and learn that process and understand it. So years back, I started taking courses on coding and Unity and Unreal and kind of trying to wrap my head around all those things, it takes years to even be able to break the surface on what that looks like. But and then a couple of years back, I had this idea with some characters of mine, and I'm not some incredible hand artists, but I'm more of an idea person. So I had some ideas and thoughts, and I was sketching them out and thinking them out. And then I got together a team of, like a dozen people who are incredible. And we've been working over a year on a game. And it's, prototyping and everything from the ground up, everything from scratch. And we're getting to a point here where we're almost to early be able to have something we can show. And
like a beta test and get ready for that.
Yeah.
Very cool. I have so many questions about the video game. When you're making music for a game, does that clearly you have to have a different thought process than making music for a record and playing it in front of 25,000 people? Does that teach you different things about, oh, let me try this, let me do this. This is something I've always wanted to do too. So that had to be a new creative avenue for you too.
Yeah, I mean, it's the ultimate creative place for me, in my opinion, because when I'm working on a video game and on top of making this actual kind of large scale indie game, which is like a team of a dozen people, I've been making mini games on my own now for years. And even that process, it's like the ultimate art for me, because I make the music, do the voices, I do the if it's a 2D game, I'm drawing all the 2D art. If it's a 3D game, I'm creating the 3D art with like Blender, and then you get to put all that together in your storytelling, and it's all these different parts of art that I love, and so I love it. Yeah.
What were the games that you grew up playing? You said computers, so like I remember Maniac Mansion and Monkey Island, and I'm trying to think of some of the other ones, Wolfenstein and Doom. I mean, those were all the ones I grew up playing. I
mean, we must have grown up in the same era, because those are a lot of my favorites. I loved Monkey Island.
Monkey Island's great.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. I grew up with all the old school games like King's Quest and like, but then I loved SimCity, and I loved Diablo, and I loved all the, Command and Conquer and Warcraft and Starcraft and all those old school games. I really, really loved RTS games, but I also loved, there was just there was so many, Day of the Tentacle. I loved Day of the Tentacle. There's, to name a few, of like Worms Armageddon. I loved all the Worms games when I was little, and making all the voices for your characters. And yeah.
We would have been friends in the neighborhood, Dan. We certainly would have played games growing up together. I know I only got you for a minute here left, but I got to ask about your Mustang, dude. I saw you got out of it for the wrecked video that's coming soon. And dude, was that your big rock star purchase? Was it like, you know what? I've always wanted this car. I got to get it. I got to have it.
Yes. Yeah. It's something that I've always wanted since I was young. I love cars. I love vintage cars, especially Mustangs. And I was able to work with Bodie Stroud out of California, who's just such an incredible artist. And we tracked down an old 67 and that was out east, and brought it to the West Coast, and took it down to the frame and built it from the ground up. And because it's one of a kind. There's no car like it in the whole world, because it's like its own version of the Eleanor to some degree, and it's just everything I wanted, and it was so fun going through the whole process of everything, and he's such an incredible craftsman. So Bodie Stroud, that's the guy to check out.
Can you tell me how fast it's gone? It doesn't have to be street or track. We don't have to get you in any trouble, but what's the fastest you've had it up to?
Well, my daughter's probably gonna watch this, so I'm gonna say, in a very controlled environment, maybe over 100. Just somewhere over 100.
Fast enough that you're like, okay, this is too fast, I'm gonna slow it down at this point. Yeah. That's awesome.
Well, when you're those old cars, that's a lot of metal, and it's heavy that you're driving around. It's different than driving a Tesla or something,
Absolutely. Well, Dan, we got a lot of big things coming with you, with Imagine Dragons, the new album Mercury Act 1 early in September, which apparently is going to be followed by at least Act 2. So we'll see about that. A tour coming soon, and your video game. And You got so much, and I'm so excited for all of this. So thank you for this time this morning, and I can't wait for everything, my brother.
Thanks, man. Thanks for all the support. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Dan. Thank you.
Take care.